When I went to play Pikmin, something strange happened. The first time I noticed its changes was when the Nintendo screen popped up and I heard in a rather demonic voice, "Pikmin." My God, that moment was super scary. Like I said, the Nintendo screen had a demonic voice. Everything else was normal. I soon saw the title screen, and the music in the background would haunt me forever. It was a distorted version of the original title screen. The original theme had a sort of calm, natural vibe to it. Not this one. This one was messed up. The game started up rather oddly. Instead of letting me select a file, it just went straight to the game. All was normal when I saw an unusual texture on the ground. I was rather oblivious to the consequences, but I wanted to know about it. As soon as Olimar ran on top of that ground, the world around him became distorted and glitchy. If I got Olimar to throw a Pikmin, it would freeze in midair, so I tried my best not to do it again. During the game, I heard music that reminded me of the reversed song of healing, which only supported my curiosity as well as fear. Olimar ran through the meshy plain while his Pikmin slowly changed colors. These colors soon turned darker and darker until they became completely black, and the sounds they made were no longer cheerful and squeaky. They were now unnerving and demonic. Eventually, I came across a cave. The cave was weirder than anything I could expect from Pikmin. It was like Olimar was walking through space, standing on a rocky bridge, stars glittering all around, comets flying every so often. What really caught my eye was small swirling galaxies below. At the end of the bridge was one of the holes you used to go deeper, as you would want to see more of what on earth is going on. I got Olimar to jump down the hole in an unexpected surprise. Once down there, the camera suddenly changed to view of Olimar's eyes. Olimar moved forward into the cave. What a cave it was. I spent almost 10 minutes trying to find an exit, all thanks to the giant room in the center. But this was no ordinary room. This room is what would be stuck in my mind all the time. All around the room was horrific dead bodies. Not like Olimar, they were more humanoid. They had no real detail to them. Nothing but a face of misery and pain. As you would think, this would be too scary. But once I walked through the dark gap at the north end of the room, the moments soon afterwards would be stuck in my memory for eternity. As Olimar walked into the room, all I could see was what appeared to be the end of a carpet, and on each side was a metal rod with a candlestick on it. When Olimar started passing these candles, they would light up. After passing the third set of candles, an eerie voice from nowhere began to talk, not in English but in German. Along with this upsetting voice was English subtitles that appeared at the bottom of the screen. It was telling a story. He was out of options, for he knew he had lost. One last attempt of retaliation had him left for dead. His body was secretly sealed in a cave, never to be found. But unfortunately, none had ever discovered his true cause of death. Only the guards knew of his fate, vowing never to reveal it until their lives have ended. They did exactly that. After their deaths, many people gave up trying to learn the secret, searching for other ways to find it. Still, after several years, nobody had found it. The only thing that people knew was it had been very painful. This pain was great, so great that he gouged his own eyes out and bit off his tongue in a desperate attempt to end his suffering. He only lay there in pain, in a pool of his own blood. He screamed for his guards to put a bullet in his brain, but they kept their promise, even as they stared into his eyes of their master. They were too loyal, so loyal that those guards were the very people who had sealed him away. Another part of their promise. 2 years later, the cave had collapsed, and because of that, the cave had become unexplorable. Everyone who knew of the cave forgot about it. The only thing that was left of the cave was a giant mound. A month afterwards, the guards returned to give a possession to the man they had been so loyal. But to their astonishment, the cave was no more. The locals gave reports of unidentified flying machines landing near the cave. When people revisited the cave the very next day, it was gone. So now that man is here. I was buried with him for companionship. This man will soon return. This man will soon begin a new era of society. This man is Adolf Hitler. Make your last seconds sparingful. Once this long speech had ended, Olimar finally reached the end of the carpet. At the end was a colossal swastika floating above a giant throne. Voices began to chant. I was now completely in shock. What is all this Nazi stuff doing in this game? As I had this thought, the cave began to rumble around Olimar. Suddenly, a heavy object hit the ground. I turned the camera angle up to see a horrific monster in the appearance of a swastika standing in front of Olimar. I began to press buttons. I tried throwing Pikmin at it, but the beast just smashed them out of the way. It started moving towards Olimar, making him walk backwards up the carpet. The monster followed him until Olimar reached the end of the room. A door began to close down on the exit. Desperately, Olimar only just managed to get out of the room, leaving the monster trapped. A message instantly popped up on the screen with a German voice again. So you managed to escape. That doesn't end in a loss for the king, for he will be waiting until next time. The screen then became black and stayed that way, forcing me to switch the console off. I had no idea what was going on at that point. All I knew was that my games must be haunted. I may never know. I'm not going on that game again. Not until I feel up to it. Hopefully when I do, the glitches will be gone. Hello, this is Yo Boy Quilted with the Spooks. Yeah, man, spooky story.